goal of this training on level 2 prospecting is to make you understand in 2 days what prospecting is, to define your target clients and the tactics to reach them, and to equip you to start immediately. Indeed, because prospecting is an activity to start as soon as possible to fill the pipeline and sign new contracts. It is possible to complete this course, as I said, in only 2 days. So here are the modules. First, module 0, we will set an orientation and a course, as well as a starting diagnosis for this prospecting. Module 1 will consist of segmenting your market, so that in module 2 we can proceed with identifying the profiles of ideal clients for each segment, as well as decision makers on how to qualify a lead and how to qualify a lead. In module 3, we will look at the different channels corresponding to your market segments and prepare a call offer. Module 4, we will look at the messages, scripts, and other tools to prepare to start prospecting. And finally, in the last modules, we will look at the pacing of prospecting and the execution program of the prospecting, as well as the progress and performance indicators to see if we are on the right track or if we need to make adjustments. A little reminder on the previous Level 0 training on Sales 101. What is sales? Sales is first and foremost a process by which there is an exchange of products or services between two companies or two people. It's important. There must be a monetary exchange or otherwise. It can be a service. So barter is also sales. When I give customer a free trial on a product or service offer, it is not sales. The seller is responsible up to the final commitment act, which is either by signing a contract or even a verbal act, a verbal commitment, and has legal value. Next, what does one buy? A customer doesn't necessarily buy just a product or a service. They primarily buy added value, which is the difference between the perceived value or the actual value minus the price they pay. Finally, there are 3 types of sales segment. B2C, business to consumers, which involves selling product to consumers, product like Head and Shoulders. B2B, which involves business to business, so between 2 companies, and B2G, business to government, which involves companies doing business with state entities or administrations. But in the end, what is important is to keep in mind that in sales, no matter what fields you are in, it is first and foremost 2 human beings who trust each other. And it is the human being who is at the center of everything. Never forget that the person first buys from another person. To be a good salesperson, there are prerequisites. First, an excellent mindset. We will see that the mindset of salespeople is very particular. You need to be competent. You need to know. And you must not forget that learning is a first step. But the goal is to become a good salesperson. And this requires experience. We have 3 top-level athletes. From left to right, we have Michael Jordan, Lionel Messi, and Usain Bolt. They have one thing in common. Each of them suffered from a physical handicap that prevented them from being the best in their respective sports. But nevertheless, they have become true legends. And the message here is simple. It says that if you also want to become an excellent salesperson, it's just a matter of will. In over 20 years of experience, I have met hundreds of salesmen and saleswomen, some exceptional, but all with their own specifics. They all had common points. First, they were authentic. They were real, humans, straight. This aspect is very important. It is a guarantee of security for your prospect. Someone authentic is first and foremost someone you can exchange with because they are human. And secondly, someone reliable. This is not a person who will hide you things. So working with someone authentic is first and foremost a guarantee of security. Then likability. The best salespeople I have worked with were true magnets. They exuded incredible energy that attracted people to them. They made friends naturally just by walking down the street. In one word, they were really, really nice. We will see that as a natural trick to keep, and in another module especially to keep us attractive, nice, and also to become ourselves magnets. Third, they had a lot of humor. The secret and formidable weapon of the best salespeople is knowing how to use the humor at the right moment. The smile is from our birth, our first means of communication. A person who smiles is the confirmation that there is a connection. Humor is also the best way to get a message across. Be realistic. The salesperson, especially in the prospecting phase, as we will see, must be realistic. Indeed, for each new prospect, it is they who decide whether to continue a commercial effort or not. It is what we call qualifying a prospect. We will see all these in great detail. A salesperson who is not realistic and jumps on every opportunity risks wasting time, but above all, not investing time in the right opportunities. They must therefore be realistic and methodical in their approach to avoid getting lost on the path that leads us to the signature. 5. Be positive, like Jordan, Messi and Bolt. This is the will. This infinite energy must translate into positivism. It allows us to see ahead, far ahead, to be able to overcome moments of failure or doubt very easily, because every failure is a source of teaching to achieve our goal. A sharp mind, very attentive to every detail with our prospects, curious to ask the right questions, because there is a truth I must tell you. The truth is shy. It hides, and you have to go find it. This means seeking and discovering the real needs that motivate our clients' purchases. 7. The list is not finished. Creative. Yes, the salesperson must face more or less complex situations where only their creativity can help them find a solution for the opportunity and thus bring in the order. 8. You have to be fast. A customer question must be entered either immediately, if we have the answer obviously, or within 24 hours max, regardless of the question, because in a word, no one wants to wait anymore. To do this, we also need some documents, answer, Q&A lists for classic questions. 9. We have to be professional. That means knowing your product, answering the question, not beside the point, being methodical, because everything you do in your relationship with your prospect before signing a deal reflects your company image. This image must be perfect. For example, if you promise to deliver information at a given time, you cannot miss your promise. So you need to think carefully before committing, because you are committing your image and your company as well. To stay in this mindset, it's about making it your way of life, your way of being. Each person must find their own tone, their own signature to remain authentic. In every interaction, we will try to be someone real, good, to bring joy, and above all, be professional. On the road that leads us to the signing of a contract, we are in this course at the initial phase, the prospecting phase. Prospecting consists of engaging concrete actions to fill the funnel. What you see is the funnel in front of us, with opportunities that can be converted into orders. There are outbound commercial actions where we go outside to the customer, and prospecting cases that we call inbound marketing, where a customer comes to us with a request. In this course and in this module, we'll only deal with the outbound case, which is the action of excellence to find new ones. In prospecting, we salesperson are the actor of the process. We go to the company, we contact companies by various means to make our offer known to them and invite them to learn more. The means are the phone, email box, a database with contacts, a plane train ticket to participate to an event, a trade show, to create new connections. The goal is to qualify the prospect. This means ensuring that they match our set customer target, that they are interested in the added value we bring them, identifying the actors we need to talk to, and finally securing an appointment for a more detailed presentation. The goal is not to sell or convince during prospecting. No, it's very important. Even if the prospect has an immediate need, we will first ensure that they are a decision maker and that their company really needs the added value before investing more time in a presentation. In business, as in everything else, you need to know where you're going. For that, you need to set goals. And even if these goals are hypothetical at the beginning, it's not important. It's a starting point. We can always adjust these goals over time. Here we will see how many prospecting actions I need to achieve a determined order value to a specific time. For example, suppose that in 6 months I need to have 300,000 euros in order entry. That's a clear goal. And it is important to know how many prospecting actions I need to do daily to have a good chance of achieving this goal. So in business sales, the goal is a contract value obtained in an attempt. So suppose I'm self-employed, solo entrepreneur, I have a B2B service activity. My goal is to achieve 10,000 euros in new contracts each month. We will now calculate precisely the number of prospecting actions to achieve this. For this, we need a calculator, a sheet of paper or an Excel spreadsheet, or even Google Sheets. And we will now define all these elements step by step for your activity. To help you define these goals, the best thing is to take example cases. So I took 2 cases, case A and case B. Case A is the case of a service company that is just starting out. The company has just been registered. Case B is the case of an equipment company that sells equipment to companies. It could be pumps, electric motors, whatever. In the case B, The entire team is already well known in the market, well established. It's a brand well known in the market. So two very distinct cases. And we will calculate together the quantity of daily prospecting actions to be carried out to reach goals. Let's take the case A, the service case. We start by defining at the top the turnover objective, which is more precisely, an objective of entering order to be achieved. And we will set it here at 30K. It could be $30,000, 30,000 euros, 30,000 in the currency you want. It's just an example, it's just a number. ACV is here the account value. It's the value of one customer per deal. For example, if the company A sign or you can sign a customer, the customer will sign the $5,000 contract approximately. So here the ACV, the account value, is 5,000. T is the time during which it must achieve this goal. We will set it here at 3 months. So the company gives itself 3 months or 60 working days to achieve its goal of entering 30K in order intake. L is the sales cycle for one sale. Here we set it at 1 month, and we will see in the future in the presentation it's a very important variable. The sales cycle is the duration from the moment you make contact until the order is signed. So here we take an example, it's 1 month. Then we have 3 coefficients, C1, C2 and C3. We will see the definitions here. We start with C3. C3 is the number of prospects divided by the number of prospecting actions. So you will do some prospecting actions, you will call clients, and you finally get connected with clients who are interested, but not necessarily qualified. It's the number of prospects divided by the number of total prospecting actions. You can see here it's set at 3%. It's low, it's very low, but you have to keep it in mind. It's a very important thing. C2 is the number of qualified opportunities divided by the number of prospects. It's very simple. You call and ultimately connect with 100 clients. Out of these 100 clients, we will consider that we have 50% of these potential clients who are really qualified clients, means they really need our added value. The coefficient C1, on the other hand, is the number of signed contracts divided by the total number of qualified opportunity. So I take here the case of 50% of prospects who are interested in our added value. We will consider here that only 15% will place an order and sign the contract. We have, if we multiply all these coefficients, C1, C2 and C3, and we multiply them by the total time we need to achieve this amount of turnover minus the sales cycle divided by the same time, we obtain a coefficient that we call the O rate. Here it is 0.002. If we now multiply the turnover objective divided it by the total ACV value and divided by this same rate, we have the number of prospecting actions to achieve during this time. For service case A, this corresponds to 4,000 prospecting actions over a period of 3 months. In other words, bringing it back to daily actions, it's 66 actions per day. It's very important. It's a high value. It's a very important value number. It's a lot to carry out 66 prospecting actions. And these are not just any actions. They are actions to contact different prospects. So it's action to contact 66 different prospects per day. Now by comparison, let's take the case B, the equipment company, well established, well known. The value is much more important. Here we have set the objective to reach 600K of order intakes. The value for each contract is 30K, and the time values it needs and the sales cycles are also different. Obviously, since it's a company that is more established in the market, the C1, C2, and C3 coefficients, conversion coefficients, are much more comfortable, almost multiplied by 50 in this case compared to the previous case A. And we see that the number of actions is significantly reduced to only 13 actions per day. That's fantastic. It's up to you now to define your goal. You have all necessary elements to calculate the number of prospecting actions per day that you need to achieve to reach your goal. Remember, an action is a different prospect, a different potential customer. So once again, to choose the right C1 and C2 coefficients, I have attached a small table that allows you to see, depending on the maturity of your business, the right coefficients to use as a starting point. So you have for a new company that has been registered for less than 5 years, an established company for more than 5 years, and let's say a big brand. Here you have different coefficients to consider. So what are the goals you have found for your case, for your business? I'd like to know that. In any case, don't be afraid if the numbers are high. We will see all these in great details. Once again, returning to case A, what does 66 actions per day mean? In detail, what does that mean? That if you want to reach 30K in order intakes in 3 months, you need prospecting actions and contact 4,000 new prospects in 3 months, which means 66 prospects per day. These 66 prospects per day will give 120 prospect contacts. These 120 prospect contacts will give 60 qualified opportunities. These 60 qualified opportunities will give 9 orders over 3 months. But since we have 1 month's sales cycle, we lose 1 month. So these 9 orders become only 6 orders. These 6 orders at 5K per order, we get the 30K, the 30,000 in order intakes in 3 months. So now we will look at the feasibility of this goal. It's good to set goals, but if they are unachievable, it makes no sense and it's demoralizing. So let's see if they are achievable. The number of actions per day, taking the case of the company A, case A that sells services and has just been registered, it must carry out 66 prospecting actions per day. Suppose the number of prospecting actions per hour that can be done is 15. That means 15 phone calls, 15 emails per hour. Suppose also that the amount of work per day is 8 hours. The number of people needed for prospecting here is a little more than half a person or 1 person for half a day. So with this calculation, you can see if your goal of the number of prospecting actions is achievable. These are few rules. There are few rules. A solo entrepreneur won't be able to spend too much time prospecting because they also have to execute their contracts. So they can reasonably spend between 3 maximum hours per day on prospecting actions. A telemarketer whose job is his job won't be able to do it this non-stop for 8 hours, right? But can do it for 6 hours a day. A sales manager, on the other hand, will be able to spend more time. They will have to spend about half their time or a little less on prospecting work. So between 3 and 4 hours per day, yeah, the goals are very high. You think they are still unachievable? So don't be discouraged, because there are things to optimize. First of all, as you see, there are 7 points that can still be optimized to reduce this number of prospecting actions. First, the C1, C2, C3 coefficients, which are conversion coefficients, they are extremely dependent on the prospecting method and the messages we use to prospect. So we will see in the following modules how to improve them. Point number 2 is to reduce the sales cycle simply by being more reactive in responding more quickly to customers' requests. Point number 3 could, for example, sell more, so increase the value of a customer per contract, either by selling more expensive or selling more things. Then fourthly, it's about possibly hiring staff to cover these prospecting actions. Finally, 5, you can reorganize your schedule to free up more time for prospecting, if you accept that it takes more time to achieve this turnover. So for the case of the company, case A, which sells services, not 6 months, but it may need maybe 8 months. We accept 8 months to reach this goal, could be acceptable. So yeah, that's it for the module number 0. We have set daily prospecting goals to achieve. They are realistic or almost realistic. We will now move on to step number 2, which consists of segmenting our market to know where these actions must be carried out.